Okay, so as you can all see, we started looking at economic systems. Okay, we started looking at economic systems. So to our few colleagues who are just in, let me just take you back, okay, so that we can look at what we started looking at. Okay, so in our lesson of overview, this probably what we started looking at. Okay, we look at the meaning of economic systems, the functions of economic systems, the criteria for identifying economic systems, types of economic systems, advantages and disadvantages of various types of economic systems. So this is just a brief overview of the topic as we started last week. All right. With regards to the learning objectives, okay, at the end of this lesson, yeah, 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 you should be able to explain the term economic systems. Okay, very, very important.
Dạ sir.
Then also, you should be able to explain the functions of economic systems, identify the criteria for distinguishing between economic systems, identify the various types of economic systems, and then finally, explain the advantages and disadvantages of the various types of economic systems that we shall be looking at. Okay, all right. So we proceeded to look at the meaning of economic systems, the meaning of economic systems, and then we stated or we indicated that when we are referring to economic systems, simply what we are saying is that we are looking at a setup mechanism, okay, for allocating resources within an economy, okay, or a setup mechanism in which resources are owned, controlled, and managed within a particular economy. So that is basically economic systems. All right. So we look at the functions of economic systems. I'm just taking you through what we did previously last week. Those of you who were not in class, who couldn't participate in last week's lesson. That is why I'm taking you through this. Okay. All right. So the functions of economic systems, we look at decision making as to what to produce. Okay. Decision making as to what to produce. Decision making on how to produce. Very, very key, very, very important. Then how much to produce is also very, very critical. Okay. It's very, very, very critical. I think I emphasized this point last week because of the issue of scarcity. Okay. We do not have much of our productive resources. And for that matter, before you engage a particular resource or any productive material to engage in production, you should be able to what decide on how much you are going to produce. Okay, the quantity or the amount you are going to produce, so that you don't end up wasting resources. So it is very, very important. And this is also one of the main functions of what economic systems. Okay. Then to whom to produce for and how to distribute. To whom to produce for and how to distribute is also one of the functions we looked at last week. Then how to achieve full employment. How to achieve full employment. Now, when we come to this point, I also did indicated that when we are talking about full employment, in fact, the term itself, it is not possible for any country in this world, okay, to have all of its citizens, those who fall within the employment, okay, age, those who are capable and qualified to be employed. It is not possible to have all of them, okay, having access to employment, okay. But then this term full employment is very, very important to us, particularly and when you are looking, when you are in economics, the term full employment is very, very important. So what then are we looking out for? What do we mean by full employment? Because of the fact that it is impossible for every citizen to be employed in a particular nation or in a particular country, when a country has achieved full employment, what it means here is that the unemployment rate in that particular country, take note, the unemployment rate in that particular country is 3%. Okay, 3%. So the 3% unemployment rate, okay, takes comes into effect to take care of the adjustment that is likely to take place once people are out of school and then they are looking for job, and then other issues that come along with it. Okay, so yes, it is impossible for every individual to get a fully employed, or yes, it is impossible for every individual to get employment or to be fully employed in a particular country, but then it is possible to achieve what we call full employment. And this is achieved when the unemployment rate
Sir,
in
please,
that
I can't
particular
hear
country
anything.
is 3%. So take note, take note. When the unemployment rate in that particular country is 3%, then we can say that particular country or economy has achieved full employment. All right. Then we also look at how to achieve economic growth and development. We also look at how to achieve economic growth and development as a function of what? Economic systems. All right. So we proceeded to also look at the criteria for identifying economic systems. Okay. What criteria do we use to say, okay, a particular country is practicing this particular type of economic systems or the other? Okay, so what criteria do we use? What criteria do we use to identify the various types of what economic systems? All right. So the first criteria we use has to do with ownership of resources. Okay, ownership of resources. This basically, looks at how resources are owned in a particular economy or in a country. Whether the ownership of the productive resources, resources that are put together, that are engaged in the production of goods and services, who owns them? Okay, who owns these productive factors? Is it in the hands of the private individuals, or is it owned by private individuals? Okay, is it owned by the government or the state, or it is co-owned by both the government and the individuals? So when the individuals are the ones who own the productive resources in a country, this will give rise to a particular type of what? Economic system. Okay, and this is basically what we refer to as the capitalist, okay, or the free market economy. Then also, when the resources are owned by the states, okay, or the government, the central government, which means that it is the government who is responsible for releasing, okay, factors of production to be used for productive purposes, then we will have a particular type of economic system which has to do with the socialist, the controlled, or the centrally planned economy. Is that okay? All right. But when the resources are owned, okay, when they are owned by both, okay, they are partially owned by individuals and then they are partly owned by the government. Okay, what it means is that not all the resources, the productive resources, are in the hands of the private individual, and not all the productive resources are in the hands of the government. Okay, they both, okay, jointly own these productive resources, and for that matter, this also gives rise to a particular type of economic system. And this particular type of economic system, we refer to it as what? Mixed economy. Mixed economy. Mixed economy. All right. Then we also look at methods of decision making as a criteria for identifying economic systems. Okay, methods of decision making. This simply has to do with who is in charge of decisions regarding production. All right, so let's continue. So the various functions that we have looked at, okay, that has to do with major decisions regarding what happens in the economy, what to produce, how to produce, how much to produce, to whom to produce for, full employment, and what have you. All these decisions, who takes or who is in charge of this decision making? Is it the government or private individuals or firms? Is that okay? So when the government or the central authority is the one in charge of these decisions, making all decisions regarding production and then distribution of goods and services within the economy, this will give rise to a particular type of economic system. Okay. The other way around is true, whereby individuals are the one who take major decisions regarding production and then distribution of goods and services. All right. Then we look, the final criteria we look at has to do with motivation for production. Motivation for production. And then here, what basically we are referring to here has to do about whether the motive, okay, the reason why firms or production is taking place is for the firms or whoever that is engaging in production to enjoy profits, okay, whether earning huge or large profits is the underlying, okay, reason why production is taking place, or the other way around. So when profit, earning huge profits is the major, okay, is the main reason or the motivating factor for which production is taking place, then we'll have a particular type of economic system. Is that okay? But if this is not the case, if this is not the case, whereby maybe perhaps the motivation for production is to satisfy social welfare, okay, or to meet the needs of the individuals or citizens within a particular country, then this also gives rise to a particular type of economic system. Okay, we shall be looking at them. All right, so these are the three, basically the three main criteria that we use to identify, okay, economic systems. Okay, or in other words, these are the three major criteria that we use to identify the various types of what economic system, whereby we say country A is practicing a particular economic system, country B is practicing a particular economic system, and then country C is practicing a particular economic system. Okay, so let's proceed. Types of economic systems. Okay, types of economic system. Now, I said at your level, we shall be looking at three for now. We shall be looking at three main types of what economic systems. Okay, but that is not to say that, you know, they are the only types of economic systems we have. Perhaps if you climb the academic ladder, if you go higher, you may come across additional types of economic systems. Okay, so basically what we are going to look at, the various types that we are going to look at in the course of this lesson is, first of all, the capitalist or the free market economy. Okay, what we basically refer to as the price mechanism. Okay, capitalist or free market economy, what we basically refer to as the price mechanism. Then also we have the second one, which is the socialist, the centrally planned, controlled, or command economy. Is that okay? So this is the second type of economic system that we shall be looking at. All right. Then the mixed economy is the third type of economic system that we shall look at. Okay. Mixed economy. Mixed economy. Now, the final one that we are not going to go much into, but I just want to, you know, make this information available to you so that at least you know that we have beyond the three, okay, we have other types of economic system that can be studied at higher level. So we have what we call the market socialist economy, okay, the market socialist economy, or what we refer to as the market socialism. Market socialism. This particular type of economic system also has its unique, okay, characteristics. Okay, it has its unique features that differentiates or distinguishes it from the other three, the top three that I've indicated here. Okay, so please take note. Take note. So as I said, that's not our focus. Our focus is the main three. Okay, the capitalist or free market economy, the socialist or centrally planned or controlled economy, and then finally the mixed economy. All right. This was the, I think this was where we ended the class last week, the last time we met. Okay, I asked a few questions, and then I think the response was okay. The response were positive, and that is a good note. That is a good note. All right. So today, what are we going to do today? We'll continue. Okay, we'll continue to look at economic systems, and basically we shall look at the first type of economic system. We shall look at the first type of economic system. So that is basically what we are going to do for today, okay, which is the capitalist or the free market economy. Is that okay? Today we are looking at the capitalist or the free market economy. So what is the capitalist economy or what is the free market economy? One will ask. Okay, What are you referring to? Now, to comprehend or to understand this particular type of economic system, please don't forget the criteria we use. Okay, the criteria we use to identify them. Who owns the resource?
Sir, please, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Perfect.
Sure.
You raise your hand.
Sure.
Yes.
So the writing is very small. I can't see.
You can see.
Yeah, share.
Yes.
Zoom it.
Okay,
Zoom
don't worry. It's because this is a
When you
definition.
zoom,
Okay.
you get some.
Yeah. So in our subsequent or in the next slides, you see a bigger font. Okay. All right. So just bear with us and then pay attention. Okay. So when we are talking about a capitalist or a free market economy, what are we talking about? So basically, we are talking about a market economy whereby the allocation of productive resources and the distribution of goods and services are made on the basis of relative market prices, okay, which are basically determined by the interaction between demand and supply forces. Is that okay? What this basically means here is that when it comes to ownership of resources, okay, who releases the productive factors, okay, for production to take place? It is in the hands of the individuals. Who takes major decisions, okay, in the economy? It is in the hands of the individuals, okay. How are distribution done, okay? How do we determine where goods are supposed to go, okay? How do we determine that? And when you come to this type of economy, the distribution, okay, and for that matter, the allocation of resources, okay, goods and services are done based on what we call the interaction between demand forces, okay, demand and supply forces. What this basically means here is that how much is being demanded, okay, who are those who are willing to pay or to afford the product? Then producers will also respond, okay, producers will also respond. This time around, it is not the government who decide, okay, let's send this particular quantity of goods and services to this particular region, and then send this particular quantity of goods and services to this particular region. No, the allocation is done based on what? These interactions, okay, this interaction between what is demanded and then what is supplied. And this gives rise to what we call the price mechanism, okay, the price mechanism, whereby the price, okay, will determine whereby goods, the price will determine where goods will go, how goods will be allocated within the economy. All right. There are few countries in this world that practice this particular type of economic system. Is that okay? There are specific countries that adhere to this particular economic system due to its advantages. Okay. Other countries may also not want to go by this particular type of economic system or allow this type of economic system to be practiced in their economy. So the few countries that practice this economic system is USA, United States of America. In fact, they are when it comes to capitalist economy or capitalist states, the United States is one of the notable countries that practice the capitalist or the free market economy. Is that okay? So one would say the United States of America is a capitalist state. It's a capitalist state. What this basically means is that when we come to the ownership of productive resources, okay, the ownership of productive resources, decision taking as to how to produce, how to distribute within the economy, it is in the hands of the private individuals. The majority of these decisions are in the hands of private individuals, not the government. That okay? That is how can we refer to these states as capitalist states or capitalist economy. Then Germany, Japan. Saram, I see your hand raised up. Yes, unmute yourself and then ask your question.
I'm hearing your voice.
Yes, Saram.
I love it. I love it.
Please, I was saying like, I can't hear you clearly.
You didn't hear what? Pardon, can you come again?
Yeah, yeah, please,
You couldn't
I'll
get the
say I can hear
explanation.
you clearly.
All right, all right. Okay, so um, we are looking at the various types of economic systems. Okay, and then I told you basically what we are going to look at is three. We have the capitalist or the free market economy, we have the socialist economy, and then we have the mixed economy. So we will start by looking at the first one, which is the capitalist or the free market economy. Is that
Please
okay?
raise your voice more.
Okay. All right. So as I was saying, how do you explain? Okay, how do you explain a particular type of economic system? And I told you, you need to get a clue. Consider the criteria that we use. Okay, in order to identify this economic system, which has to do with the ownership of resources, decision making, okay, and then the motivation for production. Okay, use this criteria, okay, to explain, okay, the type of economic system. Now, the capitalist economy or the free market economy, what we are basically saying here is that it is the type of economic system in which, okay, in which the ownership of resources, that is how resources are being owned in a country, in economy, are basically in the hands of individuals, which means is that the various factors of production, we have land, capital, okay, and even entrepreneurs, they are private individuals, okay. So these individuals are in charge, okay, of decision making within the economy. They decide what to produce, they decide how much to produce, they decide how, even how to distribute within the economy. Is that okay? All right. Then when it comes to allocation of resources, okay, allocation of productive resources and a distribution of goods and services. That is, for instance, let's assume I am a producer, okay, I'm a producer of a particular economy, and then I happen to produce in the country of Ghana, I happen to produce 100,000 units of, let's say, toothpaste, okay. I'm a firm engaged in the production of toothpaste. So I decided to produce, or I produce 100,000 cartons. Okay. Now, how do I decide how to distribute them? Okay, across the country. Okay. How do I decide on how much do I send to, let's say, Volta region? How much do I send to Greater Accra? How much do I send to Central region? Okay. And what we are basically saying here is that based on these distributions, okay, the underlying you know, uh, 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 determinant, okay, for this distribution has to do with what we call the interaction between demand forces and the supply, demand and supply, okay. How much are the individuals, the citizens there, willing, okay, and then able to afford? That will be demand. Is that okay? Then based on how much is being demanded there, me, the supplier, how much am I willing to give out for sale? Okay. So when these two meet, okay, when these two meet, it will give rise to what we call a price. Okay, a price. And that has to do with what we are referring to as the price mechanism. Is that okay? So this is basically about the capitalist or the free market economy. Is that okay? Take note. Decisions as to what to produce, how much to produce, and even how to distribute are done by private individuals. Okay, it is individuals who are in charge of decision making. Is that okay? Then when we come to even the motivation for production, okay, under the capitalist economy, it is the underlying motivating factor here has to do with profit, huge profit. Okay, because firms want to earn huge profit. So they are motivated. That is the main motivation for them to engage in most economic activities and their production. Is that okay? All right. So that has to do with what the capitalist or the free market economy. And I'll give a few examples of nations or countries that practice this particular type of economic system. I mentioned USA, we mentioned Germany, Japan, South Korea, the United Kingdom, and then many other nations. All right. Are we clear? Okay, so having explained what the capitalist or the free market economy is, okay, let's look at some of the unique features some of the unique features, okay, about this particular type of economic system that we can use, or based on this, we can say, okay, this type of economic system is different from the other type of economic system. So the unique features are what we are going to look at now. Now, the first one has to do with what? Ownership of productive resources. Ownership of productive resources. So under the capitalist economy, or under the free market economy, private individuals or firms own productive resources. You have to take note. So it is a very important feature of the free market economy. So you need to take note. Okay. It is not the government. It is not the government, or it is not the states who owns, okay, the productive resources. It is in the hands of individuals or private firms. Is that okay? It is in the hands of individuals or private firms. So that is one of the features of the capitalist or the free market economy. Now the other one has to do with the fact that it is characterized by profit maximization by producers. It is characterized by profit maximization by producers. Is that okay? Now, regarding the motive, okay, I did indicated that we may have the profit motive, okay, that underlines production, or we may have the satisfaction of social welfare. Is that okay? Now, when we come to the capitalist economy, okay, now firms or individuals who are engaged in production, okay, who engage in production to make goods and services available, okay, do so, okay, in order to maximize profit. In other words, they want to enjoy or earn huge profits. Is that okay? And for that matter, they are taking, or yes, they are putting in place the necessary measures, okay, regarding production. They want to produce at the lowest or minimum cost as possible. Is that okay? They want to initiate, you know, the marketing strategy that can help them to sell their products, okay, in order to enjoy the huge profit. Okay, they are engaged in what they call product differentiation. Okay, they are also engaged in what we call advertisement. Okay, they want to advertise their products, okay, in order to what? To enjoy or to make huge profit. So no producer or individual will engage in any economic activity because he or she wants to do it. No. Okay. The underlying reason here is because that individual or that firm want to maximize profit. The producer who is engaged in making the goods and services available is interested in making huge profits. Is that okay? So it is also another feature of the market economy or the capitalist economy. All right. Now, there is high competition among firms. Okay. The third feature is that there is high competition among firms. Okay. Or in other words, we can say there is high competition among producers, those who make goods and services available. Okay. There's a high level of competition among them. Now, this term, we refer to it as economic rivalry. Economic rivalry. Okay. Economic rivalry, whereby, you know, many firms are engaging. Hey, come on, the feedback is very bad. Those of you who fail to mute uh, your system, kindly mute them. Okay, the feedback is not good. Is that okay? Now, if you don't want to ask question, please don't unmute yourself. Make sure you always mute yourself. Okay. All right. So we said there is a high competition among firms who are engaging in making goods and services available. And this term is what we refer to as economic rivalry. Okay, there's economic rivalry. Now, when the term rivalry, I believe you understand, okay? You know, you are struggling, okay, to be at the upper hand, okay? You are struggling to be ahead of the other, and for that matter, you are taking steps, okay, by initiating programs, or you are taking decisions that will put you ahead of your other colleagues. So within the production or among production firms, okay, they take decisions, they initiate programs, okay, they design programs that will help them, okay, be ahead of their other colleagues within the industry, okay, within the industry. So for instance, let's take firms that are into the production of let's use alcoholic beverages, okay, or let's assume even these soft drinks. Is that okay? You can mention quite a number of them. You can mention quite a number of them. Malt is there, Coca-Cola is there, Fanta is there. There are many. Okay. Now, these firms, okay, are producing similar, okay, or almost the same item. They are sending these items into the market. Is that okay? So how do they act? What do they do in order to what to be ahead of their colleagues, the other producers who are equally participating within the same market, making those goods and services available, producing similar commodities? How are they going to be ahead of them? Okay, so they put in measures. So some of the measures that, as I told you, that can be put in place has to do with what they try to package their products in a very nice way, okay, to attract buyers. Okay, another method that they can use is what marketing strategies. They try to adopt the marketing strategy that will put their products ahead of what their colleagues within what market. Is that okay? So there is high competition. Okay, firms are struggling among themselves, okay, to be ahead of the other. And this is so because of what the motive, okay, they want to earn higher profits. So if you want to have, or if your motive is to earn higher profits, and then you have quite a number of other participants within the market also fighting to earn higher profit, then what is then supposed to be done? Or what do the other firms also do? What do the other firms also do? So these are the things that give rise to the competition. These are the things that give rise to the competition within firms in that economy. So it is one of the features. And why is it so? Why is it so? It is because it is the firms who owns these productive resources, and because they are the major, stakeholders, okay, who control and manage these resources, and they make production possible. Yes, this is supposed to happen among them. They have to compete among themselves. Okay, they have to compete among themselves in order to make progress, or to make a higher profit, enjoy a higher profit, be at the upper hand in the market, capture the greater proportion of the market share as they enter the market. All right. So the fourth feature of the capitalist or the free market economy, whereby we said there is free operation of the price mechanism. There is the free operation of the price mechanism. Okay, there is the free operation of the price mechanism. Now, this opposes what we call price legislation. This opposes what we call price legislation, whereby government will come, okay, the government or the state will come and say, okay, for this particular set of products or commodities, you are supposed to sell them at this particular price. Okay, take it or leave it. Without it, don't enter the market and sell. No, this is not the case here. In terms of what determination of prices, okay.
Say.
Yes.
Say.
Yes.
Say.
Who is that?
What you mean by the price mechanism? Earlier on, what you said, the capitalist or free market economy is the same as the price mechanism, and now you are saying that it is a feature of the free market economy. So I don't understand.
Yes. So what we basically mean by the price mechanism here is that, okay, when we talk about pricing of goods and services, how goods and services are being priced within the economy, is that okay? Then two forces must come into play, which we call demand forces and then supply forces. Is that okay? Now, after this topic and other few topics, you'll be looking at price theory, demand and supply. Okay. And when we get there, you'll be able to comprehend or understand this particular term. But the price mechanism simply here means that when it comes to the determination of prices.
Please, I can't hear you.
Peggy, you
Your
can't hear
internet
me.
connection is unstable.
Yes, I think it's due to the internet. Okay.
Say, please, I can't see you.
You can't see me.
Now I can see you.
You can see me. Okay. So these are due to
Which network do you
answer it's okay.
Zinc.
Hey, answer it's okay. Okay. Yeah. You guys should try and comport yourselves. Okay. All right. So Perpetua, back to you. Okay. The price mechanism. We are talking about determination of prices within the economy. Okay, determination of prices in the market within the economy. Okay, and we are saying basically the price mechanism is just a means of determining prices within the market or within an economy. Okay, it's just a method of determining prices, okay, of goods and services within an economy, whereby perhaps when you take a particular commodity, let's assume your economic textbook, okay, who determines how much it will be sold once it has been produced? Okay, who decide how much it should be sold in the market? Is that okay? And we are saying that the price, okay, before a price can be determined as to how much that particular economic textbook should be sold in the market, then the demand forces, okay, how much is being demanded by people who are in the market, individuals, how much is being demanded? Okay, so how much or what quantity is the producer, the person producing the textbook, how much is he or she willing to offer or to put out in the market? Is that okay? So when these two comes and then they meet, they'll give rise to what? An equilibrium, okay, price. They'll give rise to it will give rise to an equilibrium price, which we are referring to as what? The market price. Okay, and that price will be what or is what the item or the textbook will be sold once it enters in the market. Is that okay? Now we are saying this is so. This price mechanism is occurring or is happening just because of the fact that it is the individuals, okay, who produce or who make the goods and services available. Okay. And then since it is the individuals who make these goods and services available, they cannot just decide on their own that is how much we are going to sell the product. Because perhaps if you quote a higher price, you not end up selling your commodity or your item. Is that okay? So you should also consider how much those who are willing to buy, your commodity, your item, okay, how much are they willing to buy your item? If you take that into consideration, then we'll have what we call the market price. The market price, okay, will take effect. And that is what we are referring to as the price mechanism. Okay. Now, the opposite of this is what we call the price legislation. Okay. If the market price or the prices of goods and services are not determined by the interaction between the demand forces and then the supply forces, what will happen is that it is the government, okay, who will come out and say, okay, sell this particular item at this particular price. Is that okay? But here, it is not the government. It is not the government who controls the resources. It is not the government who is in charge of production. Okay, it is not government who is in charge of distribution. It is the private individuals. Is that okay? So as a private individual, you can't just say or stand on your own that, okay, this is how much I'm going to sell my commodity or my item without considering other factors. No, it doesn't happen that way. Okay, you need also to consider other factors. And what we are talking about here is, yes.
Say.
Yes.
Say.
Yes.
Does that mean that if the government can decide the amounts that they want to sell a particular item, like
Yes.
you see, as compared to the demand and supply, that one the private have to do the demand and supply method, but the government and if decide and say they want to sell it this amount, so it's going to be sold like that.
Yes. So let's assume, okay, what the question you're asking, let's take your economics textbook, for instance. Okay. Now, it is not the government, okay, who produced the textbook. It is individual. It is an individual who engage resource, okay, factors of production. Raw materials are being used, capital is being used, okay, labor is being used in order to make this particular textbook, okay, come into the market. Now, if that is done, okay, how do you price it? How do you determine how much it should be sold? Okay, if the government want to come into the market and say, okay, sell this particular textbook at this particular price, that should be done in consultation with the person, okay, or the firm who has produced, who has made the textbook available, who has joined factors of production to make the textbook, okay, available. So the government cannot just decide that, okay, sell it at this price or sell it at this particular price. That can only happen if the government, okay, is the one who engage resources to produce the textbook. So we have government textbooks there. Government textbooks are there. Are you okay? There are textbooks that are produced by the government. So government will say, okay, don't sell this particular textbook beyond this particular price. So that is a price legislation. This time, it's not about how much people are willing to buy and how much the producer is willing to offer for sale. No, it is government who is taking that decision. And this decision does not come into play when we are in a capitalist state. That is what we are saying here. Okay. In a capitalist state, in a capitalist state, it is the interaction, okay? It is interaction between the demand and the supply forces, as I said. And this has to do with how much people are willing to buy a particular product and how much the person producing it is willing to offer it for sale in the market. So when these forces come into two forces come into play, to give rise to the market price, and that's the price at which the commodity will be sold. And these things happens in a free or a capitalist state. Is that okay? Basically, because it is the private individuals who are in charge of production, who owns the productive factors, who engage in major economic activities to make goods and services available. Is that okay? Perpetua, are you clear? Perpetua, are you clear?
Yes.
All right. So,
Yes, sir.
all right. So take note. Okay. All right. Then the fifth point here, the fifth feature of a free market or a capitalist state. Okay. What we are saying here is that there is little or limited role of government or state in economic activities. Okay. There is limited or little role of government or the state in economic activities. Now, in explaining the capitalist or the free market economy, we said it is the market economy whereby private individuals or firms, okay, individuals or private firms own, they control, and they manage productive factors within the economy. They are in charge. They are in charge in making decisions as to what to produce, how to distribute, and then for that matter, allocation of resources within the economy. Now, this does not mean that, take note, this does not mean that the government, okay, the government has no role at all to play in the economy. Okay. This does not mean that you will not see any government activity. Please take note. Take note of this point. It is very, very crucial. It is very, very important. Okay. The fact that we are saying majority of decisions, okay, are taken by individuals or private firms, and for that matter, they are the one in charge of production. They are the one in charge of making goods and services available. It does not mean that there is no government activity at all in the economy. Is that okay? What this means is that majority of decisions regarding production, all the firms, the industries, the enterprises that are set up, that engage in the production of goods and services, most of them belongs to individuals. They belong to firms. Is that okay? So this is what it means. It does not mean that government has no role to play in the economy, or it doesn't mean that government is only there. Government does not do anything in the country. No, that is not what it means. Okay. But then, so if government has a role to play, these roles are limited. Okay. The role of government, okay, the interventions by government in the economy, okay, are very, very limited. They are very little. Is that okay? All right. So that is for the features of the free market economy or the capitalist economy. Take note. We are saying when it comes to ownership of productive resources, when it comes to the ownership of productive resources, they are in the hands of individuals and private firms. Is that okay? Now, because the resources or the factors of production are owned by these individuals and then individual firms, okay, their main motive is to make profit. And for that matter, in whatever activity that they are doing, in all economic activities that they are engaging, making production possible, okay, the main aim there is to maximize their profit. They want to enjoy as large, okay, as much as profit as they can. Okay, so that is a feature of a capitalist state. Maximization of profit, maximizing the profit level or the profit margin by producers. Okay, this is not the case when you come to a socialist or a control economy, whereby government is the one who controls and manage the factors of production. No. Mind you, if I am an individual and then I have some factors of production to put together to make production possible, I can't do this and then go and dash it to someone. No. Mind you, I have incurred cost. Okay. I have incurred cost, and perhaps I also want to earn something as a result of my sweat. So how do I maximize my profit? How do I maximize my profit? So the desire, okay, the desire or the desire to enjoy huge profits, okay, is what characterize, okay, production, which means that producers are engaged in production because they want their profit margin to increase, to expand. Okay, they want to get as much as possible from whatever that they are doing. That is why they are engaging in what? Economic activities. That is why they are undertaking production. So very, very important. Then we said there's high competition. Okay, competition. There's high competition. Now, let me also make this example here. Assuming that we have only MTN. Pay attention and listen here. Assuming we have only MTN, okay, in a country, being a telecommunication operator, okay, would there be a need to compete? Would there be a need to compete? No.
Yes.
No,
No.
the answer is no,
And
because
there will not be no need to.
yes. Okay, but there are also other players within the telecommunication, okay, industry. So we have Airtel Tigo, we have Vodafone. Okay, in real cases, we may have quite a number of firms or entities who are engaged in that particular economic activity. So for you to be ahead, okay, just take it like you have 5 women, okay, by the roadside, okay, and they are both engaged in selling, let's assume, a pineapple, or they are into the selling of what you call roasted plantain. Is that okay? So those 5 individuals there, how can they act? What role would each one of them play so that it will be ahead of the other? that it will be able to sell much more than the other colleagues who are equally present at the roadside selling the same particular product. Okay, so that's what we call rivalry. Okay, economic rivalry. They are competing. And how do they do this? They try to market their products. Okay, they try to market their products and they adopt several marketing strategies. Okay, they engage in what we call branding. They try to brand, okay, design, give their product a particular design just to be ahead of the other. So you see all this is happening, okay, in a capitalist economy or in a capitalist state, okay, just because firms are competing, okay, among themselves. Firms or producers are competing among themselves. Sayram, I see your hand raised up.
I wanted you to go over the example again. The plantain something. I did not get.
What I mean is
I
that
did not get.
what I mean is that we are saying producers are competing among themselves. Okay. So I'm trying to explain the competition. What I mean by competition is that okay. So for instance, I use the plantain, okay, the roasted plantain seller as an example. Let's assume 5 women, okay, are selling plantain along the Trafalgar Guinness, okay, road in Ho here. Now, Noling, your hand is up.
Okay, sir.
Oh.
So some time ago, the government said that they've removed the monopoly on the communication companies, but actually, no one telecommunication company in Ghana. So what does it mean?
Can you come again?
Some time ago, the government said that they've removed the monopoly on telecommunication companies in Ghana.
They removed the monopoly.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Or
Yeah, they said something
about,
actually,
hello, quiet and listening. Or you are talking about telecommunication tax.
I didn't see tax.
It's not tax.
Yeah, it's not.
Your kid brother said.
But
Because
actually, there's not one telecommunication company in Ghana.
Yes. There's no single telecommunication operator in the country Ghana. Okay, and for that matter, we don't have.
So then, what does it mean?
Okay, now you see, in the economy of Ghana, okay, we have what we call mixed, okay, participation in economic decisions. Is that okay? Which means that when it comes to decisions as to what happens within the economy, okay, production, it is not only the private firm, okay, who takes the decision, but also the government, okay, also comes into play. So both the government and then the private individual or firm will come together, okay, to engage in decision taking in order to ensure that things are smooth within the economy. So that is what basically is happening in Ghana. So if government is interfering in the activities of telecommunication industries,
Please, I can't hear you.
what I'm saying is that the question your colleague asks, if government is trying to lift the monopoly, at the first place, there's no monopoly or there's no telecommunication firm in Ghana that can be recognized as a monopoly. Is that okay? All right. So what you are saying is that perhaps the firm is trying to exhibit too much control. Okay, the firm is trying to exhibit too much control, okay, in the market, even though it is not a monopoly. Okay, it is trying to take decisions that is not good for the players or the individuals within the market, within the telecommunication market. And because government also has a role to play in the economy, not only the individual, both the government and then the individual will come together to ensure that things are smooth in the economy. That is how come the government also come, okay, and say, do it this way, do it this way. Is that okay? And then, if all that we are saying, at the end of it, our government still has the power. Okay, government still has the power to say this, this, and this. Okay, But as to whether the firms will comply or not, that is also another issue to look at. Is that okay? Now, back to the earlier question. A colleague of yours asked a question about the economic rivalry that I was trying to explain. Okay, and we are saying assuming we have 5 women, okay, engaged in the selling of plantain, okay, roasted plantain. I'm trying to explain the competition, okay. Now, these 3 women are selling, okay, they are trying to market their product. They are selling, they are offering what they are producing, the plantain for sale, for people to buy. Now, how do they compete among themselves? What is the competition that we are talking about? Perhaps when I come, keep quiet and listen. Keep quiet and listen. When I come to buy from a particular woman, and I realize that the environment, okay, where she's doing the selling is not good, and for that matter, there are flies all over. The environment is not hygienic. Okay, I will not go and buy from her. Now, another woman may also stay close to the same environment. Okay, but this time around, decide to use perhaps a rubber. Okay, use a rubber after roasting the plantain. We'll put it into the rubber, and then so that flies or other things cannot come nearby. Is that okay? All right. Then another woman may also decide that, okay, when you buy 1 cedi worth of fried or when you buy 1 cedi worth of roasted plantain, I'm adding 20 pesos granite free of charge. You take it. Is that okay? So why are they doing it? Why are they doing it? They are doing it because, one, it is the same people who come to buy from all of them there. Okay, so if people are coming to buy the same product from us, we are 5 there. So what do I do? What do I do to be ahead, okay, of my next, colleague who is also selling close by? What do I do? Is that okay? Then one woman may also decide any customer that passes by, she'll call the person, exchange greetings. How are you doing? Would you like to buy something? That is also, a strategy. Okay, just to be ahead of your other colleagues who are equally selling, okay, within the same vicinity. That is the economic rivalry that I'm talking about. Okay, now in real sense, okay, you can take the telecommunication industries, MTN, Vodafone, Airtel, Tigo. They have a lot of packages out there. Okay, you guys do use, some of you operate about 3 different chips. Some of you have Airtel, some of you have MTN, you have Vodafone. Now, their packages and their services are different. They vary. Is that okay? They vary. Now, why do we have this variation? Okay, why do we have this variation? It's because they are competing among themselves. We have these variations in terms of their services, their packages, and what they are offering to the public because they are competing. Okay, so each of these firms are putting in measures that will put them ahead of the other players or other colleagues who are equally within the industry. That has to do with competition. Is that okay? Are you all clear? Are you all clear? All right. So what are the advantages? What are the advantages? What are the advantages of the free market economy? What are the advantages of the free market economy? What are the advantages of the free market economy? Now let's look at the first one. Let's look at the first one. It said it promotes the efficient allocation of productive resources. It promotes efficient allocation of productive resources. Okay. Now, how is it so? How is it so? This is due to the fact that there is the price mechanism, as I said earlier. Okay, there is the interplay of demand forces and also supply forces. So individuals will use, okay, they will use the productive resource that are at their disposal, okay, to produce items that are only needed, that are only, uh, viable in the market, things that are needed within the market. So when this happens, it means that resources will be used to produce what is being demanded. Resources will not be wasted on the production of items or things that perhaps people don't need. Is that okay? Because once you are willing to pay for something, it means what? You need the thing. So the individuals, therefore, will use the resources at their disposal, okay, to engage in this production of the items and the commodities that people are demanding for. And when this happens, then it means that these resources or these productive factors are geared, okay, they are used towards what they are supposed to be meant for. Is that clear? Now, imagine we were to be in the socialist state, whereby the resources, the productive factors are owned by the government. Okay, government may end up sending, a particular resource or establishing a particular industry at a particular place where it is not needed. Okay, where it is not needed. That is the case. But when we come to the free market economy, because it is the individuals, okay, who owns the productive factors, they allocate it in such a way that it will not lead to wastage. Okay, so these productive resources are allocated efficiently. That is what we are talking about. Okay, this would have been an issue if we were to be operating under a socialist economy whereby government is in charge, whereby government is in control of the allocation of these productive, resources. Are you okay? So that is a very a very high advantage. It's one of the key advantages of the free market economy that you have to take note of. So take note. Then let's look at the second one. Okay, the second advantage. Okay, the second advantage, if you are a country and then you are operating under a free market economy, what are the various advantages? Okay, so we are looking at the second one. We are looking at the second one. We are saying there is higher productivity as a result of high competition. Okay, there is higher productivity as a result of what? High competition. Now, because the productive resources are owned by individuals, okay, and then it is the individuals who use these productive resources to make production possible, to make goods and services available. Is that okay? Now, once you are producing, now you are making, as you are making goods and services available, you are not the only player, you are not the only industry, you are not the only firm engaged in production. There are equally other firms that are into the production of goods and services, perhaps what you are producing. You are not the only producer. Okay, there are equally other firms, other individuals who are engaged in the production of same commodity or item. So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You try to put in the measures, okay, that will increase your output. Okay, that will help you to expand your scale of production. That will help you to produce as more as you can. Is that okay? You put in measures to help expand your scale of operation, because you know there are people there you are competing with. Is that okay? There are people there you are competing with. I have this story. It's a very funny one. It's a very funny one. There are three ladies who are fighting for the same guy. Okay, there are three ladies who are fighting for the same guy. Now you are fighting for the same guy. So what do you do? What do you do? What can you do in order to ensure that you are the the right side? Okay, you are having the advantage ahead of your other colleagues. So perhaps you need to dress well, okay, dress properly. If you're not a good communicator, you need to what to learn how to communicate well. Okay, so that is basically what it is here. Okay, there are quite a number of individuals, okay, competing within the market. So if you want to be ahead of your other colleagues, okay, if you want to be ahead of your other colleagues, then you should put in measures, okay, that will expand your scale of production. And once you are taking these measures, that will expand your scale of production. Okay, once you are taking these steps, you are taking decisions as to production to help boost your productive capacity. At the end result, what we are going to get is that you are expanding, or yes, you are expanding your business. Okay, how much you are able to produce within a particular time expands. Okay, perhaps if you are producing at a particular level, you are producing a particular unit of commodities, let's assume 100 or 200. Okay, because you don't have competitors, you put in measures, okay, to help you to be ahead. So the decisions you take will help you to overtake your other colleagues, okay, as you take in this, or as you initiate these decisions, as you implement these policies, it will help you to be ahead of your other competitors, and that will lead to what? To higher productivity. Is that okay? So you decide to come to work as early as possible, okay, because you know there are equally other colleagues of yours who are also participating in the same market. So you come to work as early as possible. You allocate extra working hours. You allocate extra working hours, okay, just because you know you are competing with other colleagues out there. So you are taking all these measures, okay, to make sure that you are at the higher side, you are the upper hand of the competition. Once the competition is taking place, you are taking these steps to make sure that you are ahead of your other colleagues, and this will eventually expand your productive capacity. Okay, this will eventually expand your productive capacity, leading to the higher productivity that we are talking about. Okay, leading to the higher productivity. Initially, if you are able to produce less, this time around you are able to produce more. Okay, because you know, if you do not expand your capacity to produce more, okay, you will not be able to compete with your other colleagues or your other firms, other producers who are equally in the market. Now, so since there will be no need for you to set up these agencies, okay, you set up this institution to be in charge of the allocation and then the distribution of goods and services. Since there will be no need, because it is the individuals who are in charge, it is the individuals who control and this manage, they are the one who manage the resources. And then we have the allocation of the resources determined by the interaction, okay, between the demand and supply forces. There will be no need for government or for any other states to put in institutions or to establish institutions that will be in charge of distribution. Okay, these institutions are the ones that will decide that, okay, let's send this amount of goods, okay, to a particular region. Let's send this particular amount of goods to this particular age group of people. No, this does not happen when you come to what? The free market economy. And this is an advantage. Okay, it is an advantage because it does not bring extra cost, okay, onto what? Onto the market or onto the economy. There will be no need for government to waste time, okay, setting up institutions, employing staff of those institutions, paying them. All this comes along with a cost. Okay, so all this extra cost will be avoided. All this extra cost will be avoided once the free market economy is in play. Is that okay? All right. Then it's also, yes.
So why isn't, I think it's in a way I think it should be more expensive, because since the free market economy,
Yes.
Their production, like what they produce, is based on demand and supply.
Yeah.
So since, okay, let's assume the demand is very high where they want to sell or produce their goods,
Yeah.
and then because of that, people want to come into what they are doing, because people like are demanding more for it. So why it's not more expensive? Since people will also be coming, will also want to be in that sector of production.
Okay, Perpetua.
Sir,
Perpetua.
please, I don't understand the question.
Yes. I'll explain to you. So
Quiet. Listen to the answer, not the question.
Quiet, and then you listen. All right. Perpetua. We are saying it is very expensive. Okay. Let's assume I am a producer. Okay. I'm a producer, and then I'm into the production of Malta Guinness. Are you listening? I'm into the production of Malta Guinness. Now, once I produce, okay, the quantity I produce, as to where I will send them, how much quantity I'll send to a particular location will depend on how much is being demanded there. Is that okay? So if let's assume the demand in a particular region for my malt is 50, then I'll send 50 there. If in another region it is 100, I'll send 100 there. Is that okay? There will be no need for me to come and set up, okay, another establishment or entity whereby I'll employ staff. Are you listening? I'll employ staff. I'll buy office equipment. I'll buy machines. I'll buy furnitures and all what have you, just to put up these institutions. Who will then decide as to how much of this particular commodity will be sent to this particular region? No, that is not going to happen. Okay, that is not going to happen because already there are forces that come into play. Is that okay? There are forces that determine how much is being demanded in a particular region or in a particular location. So there'll be no need for me. There'll be no need for me to set up these institutions to know where and where, okay, to distribute the commodity once it has been produced. And that is what we are saying here. Is that okay? The extra expenses here happens after production. Is that okay? After production. So after production, then you have to sit down and know how much you send to this particular region, how much you send to this particular city. You have different classes of individuals, okay? You have several sectors within the economy. You need to know how much you are going to send or allocate to these particular institutions or sectors. And all this involves planning, okay? You have to plan. You have to plan. And once this happens, it comes along with its cost. It is not free. You do it at a cost. Okay. You need to set up buildings, okay, the offices, and then employ individuals who will be in charge of these allocations. Okay, who will be in charge of the distributions. And all this comes as a cost to the state or to the economy. If you are operating under the free market, there will be no need for these structures to be there.
Yeah. So does that mean it doesn't have anything to do with the government side? Does that mean it doesn't have what? To do with anything with the government sector? Like if they're supposed to pay some amount of money or anything, it doesn't have to do with any government sector or like, I don't know how to say it. No. I get you. I get your question. Now, Perpetua, listen carefully. Now, assuming we are in a country, Ghana, okay? We're in the country, Ghana, and then we produce idle milk. Are you listening? Yes. We produce idle milk. We produce Milo. Okay. We produce sugar. Now, these three items, okay. If you are in a free market or a capitalist economy, the idle milk, the Milo, and then the sugar are produced by individuals, firms, industries. Is that okay? After production, yes. After production, how then do they send these particular items to individuals, okay, who need them to buy? Are you listening? How then yes. do this? Now, they don't have to sit down and plan to how much they are going to send to a particular region so that they can ensure that
the item is sent to almost every region in the country. No. Okay, they'll do it, okay, based on maybe where it is being needed or it is being demanded most. Okay, where it is being demanded most. So that is where it will be sent. Now, if you were operating in a socialist or a command economy, after producing the idle milk, the Milo, and then the sugar, government will therefore have to come and sit down. Okay, plan. How do I allocate them? Okay, how do I ensure that this should be sent to this place or this should be sent to this place? If it is the distribution of services, okay, or even building of hospitals or schools, bridges, and other social.
Please, your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking, please.
Okay, all right. And other infrastructure, government will have to sit down and plan, okay, and decide what is going to this area, what is going to this area. Okay, that happens in a socialist economy or in a socialist state. But when we are in a capitalist or a free market economy, we are saying there will be no need, okay, for this number of institutions or entities to be set up.
Please, your voice is breaking.
We've never encountered this challenge before. I should be sincere. I think today is the first time we are encountering this challenge with the network instability and then the other issues. So let's hope in our next meeting we'll be able to have a better network, particularly those of you in areas that are faced with network challenges. Is that okay?
No go.
Is that okay?
Like no go. Okay, sir.
Because some of your colleagues can hear me loud and clear. Is that okay? Some of your colleagues can hear me.
Sir, if you are speaking, the voice is like you are playing organ.
Really? And you know, we are dealing with technology. Quiet. We are dealing with technology. Okay. So we'll check on our equipment here, our tools here, our machines here, and see if there's any issue. Because as it stands now, I can't say the irregularity or the inconsistency in the voice. It can be attributed to maybe what I have here. No. Okay, so let's hope that in our next meeting
people should connect a Wi-Fi for us so that we can be using.
We'll have a consistent.
Are you serious?
Manes.
So go and try. I'm giving you an individual assignment. This an assignment you have to go and do on your own. Okay, you don't need to present it. Just go and then read on your own. Read on it.
Thank God.
Okay.
Thank God.
Go and look at the final point here. Okay, how the free market economy, okay, helps to bring about efficient distribution of goods and services.
Let's pray before closing it.
Oh, this boy, this first time I say what?
Logic there. Oh no.
It's of economics, you know good.
Oh, you like talking? Shut up.
Holy shit.
Now wait, it's my network. I know the year. Who that?
Quiet. Do you have any question?
Holy shit.
What is the Holy Spirit?
It's okay. Let's leave the task.
Cow. Sorry.
It's okay. Oh, what has Elder?
Oh, that's why I do like that.
But that one is notification. It's notification that.
Hey guys, quiet. I want to ask a question.
Sir.
Yes. We are ending the class here. Do you have any question? Before I ask my question, do you have any?
No, say.
Okay.
Answer.
Please, I'm
Bye-bye.
hungry.
All right.
Answer.
So we'll meet,
AOL.
we'll meet next week. When we meet next week, we'll look at the disadvantages. Okay. We will look at the disadvantages of the free market economy. Is that okay?
Yes.